Further than Big Tish. Tish is in some deep-ish. She's under indictment, charged with bank fraud tied to a house she bought in Virginia. She told the bank it was her primary residence, even though she lived in New York. Tish thinks this is her Trump comeback story, though. She's ready to fight. I
know what it feels like to be attacked for just doing your job. I will not bow. I will not break. I will not bend. I will not capitulate. I will not give in. I will not give up.
Please give up. Tish wants to ban lawfare only when she catches a charge. Too late. CNN says she deserves it.
But let's also not whitewash history here. Letitia James did essentially the same thing to Donald Trump. She ran for office explicitly targeting him. She fundraised on that. She brought a lawsuit that ultimately was gutted, not quite entirely dismissed, but mostly reversed by a liberal appeals court in New York State.
She did exactly the same thing, except Trump didn't do anything. And she did. I mean, if you know that you have something in your past that's not 100% clean, you better not go after somebody else for the same thing that you did, especially when they didn't do it.
Even Michael Cohen says it's a slam dunk.
The documents will speak for themselves, and I'm certain that they have the documents that they need. I believe a first-year law student can actually take these cases to full trial and be successful.
This isn't lawfare. It's fair law. Prosecutors didn't Frankenstein a phony charge to take Tish down. They just followed the code on the books. Now the tables have turned, and it's a competition over who can be the left's biggest martyr. Tish can't blame anybody but herself. Her house is not in order, literally. According to the Times, the person living there is Nakia Thompson, Tish's grandniece, who told the grand jury in June that she'd been living there in the $235,000 three-bedroom property since 2020. The Daily Mail caught her walking out on camera. Primetime did some digging. Nakia's rap sheet is longer than a CVS receipt. It's so big it spans 2 states. First in North Carolina, according to the state's Department of Adult Correction, Nakia was a very bad girl. 2005, simple assault. 2006, assault against a government official. 2011, another assault against a government official, plus trespassing. Then Nakia got 60 days behind bars and was playing whack-a-mole with cops. But she didn't clean up. She transitioned. She's become an absconder. That means she fled the state to avoid arrest and moved to Virginia, where the Daily Mail caught her on the porch. Nakia even landed a gig working for her great auntie's 2018 campaign.
Is that not considered harboring a fugitive? I would think. Leave in the comments for people who might know.
For AG. And according to her LinkedIn, her title was seasonal representative. Why would Tish hire someone who smacked a government official? Not once, but twice. Then Nakia got busted again. According to the Virginia court records, in 2019, she pled guilty to grand larceny. 3-year sentence, 2-year probation.
Man.
Copped additional charges for possession of burglary tools. Another 9 traffic-related cases, including speeding, revoked license, safety belts. Oops. A year ago, she was charged with 4 traffic misdemeanors in a single day. That's efficient. Did Tish know her grandniece was a career criminal? She was obsessed with Big Bad Orange Man. Meanwhile, a wanted woman was hiding under her roof rent-free. Democrats say no one's above the law, but when it's their own, the law is optional. And in Tish's case, so is paying rent.
She might be in trouble. We'll see. The case is in Virginia, so I'm not expecting much. When you have a billionaire as president, he brings his rich friends. Look at this.
Shutdown. You have the money to pay the troops on October 15th. Okay.
I actually have a man who is a very wealthy person. You'll know that when I tell you this. Who called a donor, a great gentleman, and he said, if there's any money necessary, shortfall, for the paying of the troops, then I will pay it, meaning he will pay it. How about that? I said, look, we're not going to need it. We're going to take care of our troops. But This was a position that's being forced upon us by Democrats.
That's crazy. He's got a friend that'll pay the troop bill. That's a big time donation if they had to do it. What a difference a year makes. Let's look at what Trump did in one day. One day.
Watched him fall asleep. Now we're watching Trump, the man that never sleeps. I'm just tired looking at his schedule. In the last day, the president flew 14 hours to Israel, hugged hostage families, and delivered a speech to their parliament. Then flew to Egypt, met with the president, spoke to the press, signed a peace deal, gave another speech, met with more world leaders, and then flew back home at the crack of dawn. He touched down at 2:30 in the morning. Instead of going to bed, blew up a Coke boat, then welcomed the president of Argentina at 1, and then got invited to go on another trip.
I'm just a little busy. I'd love to go to Argentina. I'd like to be like Biden. I'd like to go to the beach. My body is a little bit larger than his. I'm not sure it would be appreciated on the beach, but I'm not going to take a chance. You won't see me in a bathing suit. You won't see in a bathing suit sitting on a beach in Argentina, falling down, not being able to lift a 3-ounce chair.
Argentina's president this time didn't bring a chainsaw, but he didn't come empty-handed. He gave Trump a framed Nobel nomination.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
And when he did this letter, Mr. President, your settlement in the Middle East wasn't done. So we have to do a new letter.
Let's do it.
To include that, because this is a very important.
You'll have to add one extra sentence.
Exactly.
Trump, too, was in a giving mood. Zelensky's coming to town Friday, and Christmas might come early.
I know what he has to say. He wants weapons. He would like to have tomahawks. Everyone else wants tomahawks. And we have a lot of tomahawks. Tomahawk is a... Do you need any tomahawks in Argentina?
You get a tomahawk. You get a tomahawk. Everyone gets tomahawks.
Trump's the hardest working president ever. He never sleeps. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he never sleeps. I don't know how he does it. I mean, how can a person go without sleep? I don't know. But Trump does it. Trump is destroying the far left extremists.
I want to play a clip here that's really important because you're working on a very important piece of this, and I wish we had more time for this. So let's just get right into it. 1:36.
Let me tell you something I've not shared with anybody, but the last message that Charlie Kirk gave to me before he joined his creator in heaven was he said that we have to dismantle and take on the radical left organizations in this country that are fomenting violence. That was the last message that he sent me before that assassin stole him from all of us.
So that is a powerful clip. Stephen Miller said something similar when JD hosted the show on the Monday after he was assassinated. And Treasury, I come to find out, coming to D.C., that Treasury has taken an active role in an aspect of this dismantling of the financial networks that are supporting some of these radical left violent groups. Share with what you can. I know it's an ongoing process.
So it's an ongoing process, and I will tell you that after 9/11, Treasury became the driving force behind tracking down the networks of terrorist organizations, how they were financed, how could this have happened on U.S. soil with these international terrorist organizations? Where did the money come from? Who were the ultimate funders? And that was on the international side. And Andrew, I will tell you that Charlie's death is like a domestic 9/11, that we are going to find. It has alerted us to what Charlie knew, that these organizations are working within our borders. And look, we believe people have a right to free speech. They have a right to organize. They have a right to protest, but they have to do it peacefully. They cannot embrace violence, and we have seen it. We've seen it since the terrible day 2 years ago, the anti-Semitism and the bias that came out after October 7th.
So they're going after him, and they need to. The Democrat Party has always had some militant group. Go back 100 years, who did they have? They always have some militant group. It's time to shut them down. This is what the left really thinks about Charlie Kirk.
Just a few days ago, a member of Congress of this body, Ilhan Omar, shared a video on her social media account about Charlie Kirk's murder, and I'll quote what it said. It said, "Charlie Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein, and his monster shot him through the neck." In other words, Charlie had it coming to him. The words that he said naturally led to his assassination. I mean, that is a reprehensible thing for a member of Congress to say, to suggest, to promote in any capacity. And there are people across this country who are losing their jobs for far less than this. And that, by the way, is a just response to acceptance and tolerance of political violence.
This lady, Omar, was protesting the war in Gaza, ruthlessly protesting, and we haven't heard anything since Trump got a ceasefire. So it's obvious that she didn't want peace in Palestine. She just wants to eliminate the Jewish people. Watch how Trump handles ABC fake news.
I just want to say it's a pleasure to be with you, and we're going to have lunch, and we'll take a couple of questions from the news, and I'm sure they'll be extremely non-hostile and friendly. Like JD went through a very friendly interview with George Slobodanopoulos, who was nice enough to pay me $16 million the last time we came. He had to pay $16 million to me, which was good. It was worth having somebody lie. If you get $16 million, that's good. But JD had a very nasty person interviewing him, and we can't let that happen. Just as inappropriate to cut off a highly respected vice president of the United States mid-sentence. I guess it's one way to win an argument. That was the only way he was going to win the argument. So it was pretty inappropriate. I want to tell you that.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next, we'll be right back.
Brian,
First of all, congratulations.
I don't take questions from ABC Fake News. After what you did with Stephanopoulos to the Vice President of the United States, I don't take questions from ABC Fake News. Brian, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
How do you have the Vice President of the United States on your show and you treat him so disrespectfully? Fake news is dead. No one is above the law.
I agree with Letitia James whenever she stated that no one is above the law. And what happened here is a grand jury determined that there is sufficient evidence to bring to indictment allegations of mortgage fraud against her. She's going to have her day in court. It's going to be about 2 weeks from today, and we'll see what the court decides. But it looks like there is sufficient evidence here to reasonably say that she did indeed commit mortgage fraud, and if she did, she needs to be held to the same standards as anybody else would. I mean, this is somebody who tweeted whenever she was going after President Trump, weaponizing the New York Justice Department against the president, that when powerful people cheat to get better loans, it comes at the expense of hardworking people. She needs to be held to that standard as well.